16 years we'll be fighting Boko Haram. How have they been surviving? Who has been funding them? These are questions we should ask ourselves. Where are they getting the fuel they're getting? They're getting from us. We have commercial drivers that will go and take full tank, go out, go and siphon fuel and give them. Sometimes they have pre-arranged locations. They siphon fuel in jerrycans, dig holes and drop it and phone them and tell them where the fuel. These are the people that keep them going. So why are we doing this to ourselves? What is the motive? Are you going to be happy if your country fails? You want to be a refugee or an IDP somewhere else? Border management is very critical. I've had countries, because of the level of insecurity they had to fence their borders. I know sometimes when you mention, people say, no, it's impossible. Pakistan fenced 1,350 kilometer border with Afghanistan. That was the only time they had peace. Saudi Arabia and Iraq, 1,400 kilometers fenced completely. Can we start thinking of fencing our borders? We have 1,500 kilometers with Niger Republic, 1,900 kilometers with Cameroon. Chad is there. All over us, surrounded by Francophone countries, and the Sahel is heating up. Gentlemen, if we don't do anything, when the Sahel falls, it is Nigeria that everybody is interested in. Because they believe Nigeria is huge, Nigeria is big, Nigeria is rich. And that is what we should start thinking about. How do we secure fully and take control of our borders? It is critical for our survival. It is critical for our sovereignty. We must not shy away from these things. It might be expensive. It will be penny wise, pound foolish if we don't. We must stand up to be counted together as Nigeria for Nigeria. As I conclude, let me once again commend the Director General and the CEO of Voice of Nigeria for the foresight to actualize the important and timely initiative. His ongoing innovation within the Voice of Nigeria, such as the expansion of voice base, you have equally failed. And if your security forces fail, especially your armed forces, I don't know which country you will have to stand with. First and foremost, we must look at ourselves as Nigerians. And nobody will change Nigeria if not Nigerians. If you sit down to think that any other person will come from somewhere and liberate your country, then you should think twice. So that is why it's very important for the citizens, renewed agenda citizens. Citizens make up the country, and it is citizens that will uplift the country to where they want it to be. If we do not do that, then the country will continue to fail. But this country will not fail, because God has blessed this country. If you remember some years back, some countries have predicted that 2015 Nigeria was going to pack up. This is 2025, 10 years later, we're still standing strong and still moving forward. We will continue to shame all those that don't mean us well. I'm standing here today because I had the privilege of being born in Nigeria. I had the privilege of attending my primary secondary school in Nigeria. I went to Nigerian Defense Academy. Vice Admiral Gambo were the ones that brought us up at the academy. When we graduated from MBA, we met generals like Lieutenant General Buratai. My first contact with him was when he was commandant in the Nigerian Army School of Infantry, then as a brigadier general and I was a colonel. Gradually he became the chief of army staff and developed and expanded the Nigerian Armed Forces because of commitments. I think people don't really understand that the military is a family. And our family transcends just friendship. It goes down to family line. And we find that mostly we know our families, we know our children, we know our parents. That is how we grew up. And so mentorship in the military is unique because it's continuous. Every one of the retired personnel that here has played major roles in our lives, me particularly. Just support your government, because without your support, it's not possible. National security, citizenship, everybody has a role to play. It is when we come together to uphold this that this country will thrive, not allowing the enemy to break into gaps between us. Boko Haram started because we protected them. They started as a small group, and if it had been nipped in the bud, we probably wouldn't have gotten to where we are today. The Lacrawas came in, we brought them in, and we said they are our friends and their families until they started attacking us. The message here is when you grow a monster, he grows beyond you and wants to take more from you. So we must learn to say no to monsters. Any evil one that means by planning any evil against this country must never ever be supported, because it is the silence of the majority that gives them that opportunity to grow to who they become. The people must be part of the solution. I always want to remind people that the citizens, that the terrorists survive within the communities. If we allow them, they will thrive. If we disallow them, they will never survive. First and Second World War are very clear. When citizens stood up against the enemy, they didn't give them food, they didn't give them fuel, because sometimes you sit down and think, 16 years we'll be fighting Boko Haram, how have they been surviving? Who has been funding them? These are questions we should ask ourselves. Where are they getting the fuel they're getting? They're getting from us. We have commercial drivers that will go and take full tank, go out, go and siphon fuel and give them. Sometimes they have pre-arranged locations. They siphon fuel in jerry cans, dig holes and drop it and phone them and tell them where the fuel. These are the people that keep them going. So why are we doing this to ourselves? What is the motive? Are you going to be happy if your country fails? You want to be a refugee or an IDP somewhere else? Those are questions we must be able to ask and answer. This is why forums such as this are invaluable. They provide a platform for citizens to receive first-hand information from government and security practitioners. Such transparent engagement not only build trust, but also counter the void often filled with misinformation, disinformation, and propaganda. At the time when sentiments and perceptions shape reality, it is vital that we dominate the narrative with facts, clarity, and sincerity. Citizens must hear directly from their leaders, not through distorted third-party sources. Like I said, not many people are happy that Nigeria is still standing strong today. And we seem not to realize that. A lot of people wish us bad, wish that we have disintegrated for their own selfish interests, and we must not allow that. The media environment in Nigeria has changed drastically. The rise of new media has democratized information access and also created opportunities for hate speech, dissent, and manipulated narratives to flourish. Social media. If you notice, most of the videos that are being peddled are videos of old or maybe some other countries, and they make it look as if it is true or it is recent. And sometimes we carry it hook, line, and sinker. And the next thing is everybody is insulting, attacking the government or attacking the security forces. Gentlemen, they need your support. Men work on support from the citizens, because that is where they get their morale from. If the morale of your troops fails, they will never be able to do their work. And that's why it's important that for whatever we do, we should pray for them, we should support them, we should commend them. They are humans just like every other person. They have families. If we show you pictures of personnel, they have lost breadwinners, lost limbs, lost everything, eyesight, just to defend this country. So sometimes when you go to bed and you lie down and you sleep and you close your eyes and you put your AC, or you don't have AC, or you sleep and you dream, remember that there are some people that are standing there in their trenches from morning till evening every day to ensure that you are able to go to your room and sleep. They don't have that luxury, they don't have that luxury. We must always remember that it is critical and important that we support them to do what they are doing, because they are standing guard for us to be able to enjoy the democracy we're enjoying. And that's very critical. The proliferation of information sources means we must act with urgency to counter harmful content with timely and accurate messaging. Sometimes when you see our reportage, it looks as if we commend, we're happy when troops are killed. When we achieve success, it goes quiet. But once a soldier or somebody is killed or something, you will see the flashes. So the tendency is, who are you doing that for? Always remember that if your security forces fail, you don't have a home. You'll be a refugee in somebody else's country. And I don't know if that is what you are praying for. So we must ask ourselves those questions. We in government and the security agencies must seize opportunity conventional and digital media as tools of truthfully informing Nigerians about security development, especially during times of crisis. And that is why, since we came on board, we have been open. We have never shied away when we make mistakes. We allude to it and we make a redress. We take action and try to prevent in future, because we are human beings. The good, the bad, and ugly exist everywhere. And remember, we recruit for the society. So we are not recruiting angels. We are recruiting Nigerians. So they will come with the baggage. But the system has a way of identifying them and prosecuting them so that they don't give us bad names. And that's why it's important. Nigerians are, especially during times of crisis, of course, such communication must be weighed against what is permissible under national security. But it is possible and necessary to strike a balance. Sometimes when you get information and you divulge so early, you might be aiding the enemy unknowingly, thinking that you are looking for front page news so that your editor will give you probably extra bonus, but you are selling your country. So you must always sit down and discern. This information, is it true? Is it timely? Is it when to be released? But have you also clarified about it? Indeed, Nigerians have many questions, some tough, some emotional, some simply seeking clarity. These questions reflect their concern, curiosity, and deep interest in the progress of our nation. That in itself is a strength we must harness. I therefore congratulate the esteemed panelists who will speak today. You have a challenging task ahead of you, but I'm confident that you possess the expertise, wisdom, and courage to engage sincerely. Security remains the most talked about topic across households and media platforms, which makes the expectation from this gathering very high. Now, the question we ask ourselves, how did we get to where we are? We remember some years back, even as junior officers, when we want to travel, we travel at night because we have nothing to be afraid of. How did we allow ourselves to get to where we are? It's a collective responsibility. It's not a matter of pointing fingers at any other person. We all went to sleep when things started falling until where we are today. So if we want it to stop, then we have to walk back to how it is supposed to be. I look at the aspect of looking at Nigerians. Firstly, we must learn to love one another. We must learn to love our country. It's only in Nigeria, sometimes you hear when something happens, Nigeria is bad, Nigeria is terrible, we're this, we're that. Go to other countries and see what happens. Where everybody protects its sovereignty, we just go ahead. So these are aspects that we should look at. I look at the aspect of good governance, which is critical. Dividends of democracy, local government autonomy. These are aspects that will help in securing our country. Because if you have a state with 20 local governments, and you have 20 local government chairmen working, insecurity is localized. They will individually be able to deal with the security situation within their local government before it comes to the collective as a state. These are aspects that we have to look at. Do we have a comprehensive database as Nigerians? We need a census that will capture every Nigerian in the world, not only in Nigeria. If you go abroad and you do the crime, you will easily be caught. Why? There's a database to fall back on. If they get your picture or your fingerprint or your signature or anything about you, you could be traced. That makes it a lot easier. Do we have that now? Border management is very critical. I've had countries, because of the level of insecurity they had to fence their borders. I know sometimes when you mention, people say, no, it's impossible. Pakistan fenced 1,350 kilometer border with Afghanistan. That was the only time they had peace. Saudi Arabia and Iraq, 1,400 kilometers fenced completely. Can we start thinking of fencing our borders? We have 1,500 kilometers with Niger Republic, 1,900 kilometers with Cameroon. Chad is there. All over us, surrounded by Francophone countries, and the Sahel is heating up. Gentlemen, if we don't do anything, when the Sahel falls, it is Nigeria that everybody is interested in. Because they believe Nigeria is huge, Nigeria is big, Nigeria is rich. And that is what we should start thinking about. How do we secure fully and take control of our borders? It is critical for our survival. It is critical for our sovereignty. We must not shy away from these things. It might be expensive. It will be a penny wise, pound foolish if we don't. We must stand up to be counted together as Nigeria for Nigeria. As I conclude, let me once again commend the Director General and the CEO of Voice of Nigeria for the foresight to actualize the important and timely initiative. Its ongoing innovation within the Voice of Nigeria, such as the expansion of Voice of Nigeria's international broadcasting to tell Nigeria's story globally, are both commendable and strategic. We must learn to tell our stories. Don't allow anybody to do that. And they say until the day that the lion knows how to speak, the hunter will always tell his own story. It is important. I urge us all to embrace today's conversation with open minds and patriotic hearts.